What's up people, welcome to a breakdown of the Eyasluna and review of this gun. This gun has been taking the competitive community by storm and you've been seeing it a lot more. On my one right here I've got quick draw IS. Short is technically a little bit better for the target acquisition. I've also got rangefinder. Rangefinder is an amazing perk. It basically ranges what these hand cannons are all about. Rifle barrel is one of those must-have perks. If you have these two combined, you almost never miss your shots and it's actually got some pretty decent range. My one also has life support, which I think is a really good perk. This basically regenerates your health sometimes when you're in those clutch situations and you're low health. And if you just compare this base stats to the hand cannon to all of these other legendaries, the Vanity, Vanilla's Peril, Lord High Fixer, it's got way better base stats. And you can see that 3-tapping people is quite common. Now, the way I would suggest to run this loadout is really want to get one with rangefinder, you want to get one with rifle barrel, you want to get something that can land consistent headshots, and you should be able to land a 3-tap on people because it does about 86 damage to the head and about 50 something to the body, which means that you can 3-shot most Guardians. If they're running like a Ram Warlock or something with Max Armor Titan or something like that, then it won't 3-shot if you only land one headshot. You'll need to land 2 headshots at least. It's also really good for cleaning up the secondary kills because it does a lot of damage in like one shot, you know. So if you land a shotgun at mid-range, you can easily clean them up with one shot from the Eyasluna. That's what makes this gun so good. Another thing about hand cannons is how to run it, what to run it with, like what secondary weapon you should use. I would honestly recommend running a shotgun because it does have a bit of range on it and you need something to help you out in those close quarters engagements. Although there are some exceptions to that and I will get to that, but generally what you'll see in the competitive community especially is a lot of people are starting to run around with Eyaslunas and Vanilla's Perils and Lord High Fixers and Thorns and pairing them up with shotguns because it gives you a nice mid-range and close range encounter and you can use your movement to make up for those long range engagements. You can get up close, you can get into people's faces and you can avoid sniper rifles. That's the idea. So in the gameplay you can see that I'm pretty consistently taking people out. I mean, if you stay at mid-range and you force people to run towards you, it's usually a pretty easy kill. Especially in things like here, you can see how I'm choking a lot of shots, and aim with hand cannons is something that you really need a lot of practice with. It takes a bit of gun skill. And I've got a little bit of elimination play here, and even on maps like Widow's Court where you've got a lot of really long sight lines, a lot of people are sniping. If you maintain the correct areas on the map, you can still do pretty decent. So I was managing to kind of hold my own in this, but I was still getting kind of screwed at longer ranges because this gun really shines at like close to mid range. It's not great for those like mid to long range engagements where hawk saws and medium multi-tools and like scout rifles and sniper rifles are just going to outgun you every single time. You have to use your movement, use your abilities to get into those mid-range engagements, and then you shouldn't have any problem outgunning things. It will outgun Doctrine, it will outgun Hawk Saws, it will outgun PDXs, but only if you're at the right ranges. So knowing the range of this weapon is key. So I do like to pair it with a shotgun because it allows me to do some damage and then push up close with the shotty. It's a really solid primary. You can use it with the sniper rifle as well, and I'm going to show you a bit of that later. And you can also see that it's really good for dipping in and out of cover, taking pot shots. So the advantage that you have over someone using like a hawk saw or a medium multi-tool is that if they miss a burst on their pulse rifle, it's not the same as you missing a shot on your hand cannon. So you can dip out of cover, dip into cover, take one shot, and you've landed 86 damage. They might have only landed half a burst, which might be 40 damage or something like that if it's a hawk saw or a PDX, which is what you often see people running with shotguns these days.
Revive your teammates.
I've got a bit of elimination as well here with the sniper rifle, and you can see how I'm playing a little bit differently. I'm just using my grenades to enter close range engagements because you can't outgun last words with this at close range. You can't take out doctrines at close range. You have to keep your distance. You have to use grenades to enter engagements if you want to take out those kind of things. But it's really good with the sniper if you can keep your distance like kind of far back, and if you land a body shot with the sniper, then it's really good for cleaning it up because those first shots on the hand cannons are really accurate. People do say that they get a lot of ghost bullets with these guns, and I do experience it sometimes, but As you've probably heard already, the higher your range stat, the less ghost bullets you'll have, and also in the recent patch that they did for hand cannons, they increased the accuracy of that first shot. So it's really good for cleaning up kills when people are weak, because that first shot almost always hits. Another interesting thing about hand cannons, especially the Eyasluna, is recoil control. So this is actually pretty much the same gun as the Hawkmoon. I mean, that's where the name comes from. Eyasluna means baby Hawkmoon. It has the same base stats, which means it has the same recoil control. You guys who like to use the Hawkmoon, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It pulls like kind of to the right, and I'll show you the recoil patterns later. As far as PvE goes, I mean, it's a good gun. It deals damage. Everything's good in PvE, you know what I mean? But it doesn't have much range. It's not that great for taking out mobs at a distance. It's not very PvE oriented. This is definitely a PvP weapon, I would say. The days of Fatebringer, Word of Crow are gone. I don't play much PvE, but one of the things that I can say is use a scout rifle or pulse instead, something with high caliber rounds that will flinch your enemies, and don't use hand cannons because they just don't have that much ammo. You know, I don't know why they nerfed the ammo so hard back in before taking King. Lol, rip, I just got destroyed by one Axion dart. This is why I don't play PvE, and this is why I don't try and solo Nightfalls. But right here I'm going to show you the different ranges that you want to engage with this weapon. So right here is shotgun range. If someone's this close, you're probably going to die. They're probably going to be able to shotgun you straight away. If you back up a little bit and get to this sort of range is like where someone can still warrior you. Like they can slide at you and shotgun you, got to kill them before they get to you. But right here, this is the optimal range you want to keep yourself at with hand cannons, especially the Eyasluna, because you can easily land 3 shots on someone before they get to you. Even if you don't land any headshots, if you land 4 shots, it's always a kill. Now right here, this is kind of out of range of the hand cannon. This is where pulse rifles like the Hawksaw, the PDX, the Meter Multi-Tool, they're all going to outgun you at that range. Now I'm going to show you how to deal with situations in these engagements. If someone's right up close to you, just jump up over their head and you shot, one shot in the head and a melee, they're dead. If you're a little bit further away in like warrior range or last word range, you take some shots, you back up, you switch to your shotgun, you take them out. That way you can map them with the shotgun just by getting a little bit of damage in first. If you're at this sort of range where Hawksaws and stuff, you need to slide in, you need to use your movement to get a little bit closer to get into the optimal range and then push them with your primary and your shotgun. Now if you're even further away, like this sort of range, this is like scout rifle, Meter Multi-Tool, sniper range. You cannot challenge at this range, don't. Your shots won't even hit, honestly. So you need to enter these kind of engagements with a grenade, force them out of their hard scope, take creative angles to your approach, use aerial accuracy to your advantage and take people out. Now I'm going to show you just like generally what the recoil pattern of this gun is, because one of the things that people really neglect when they're trying to master a weapon like this is how to control the recoil. Now if you just take it and shoot at a wall, you'll see that the Eyasluna, I mean this is with no recoil correction at all, I'm just shooting it. It pulls pretty hard to the right, like it doesn't go up and down very much, but it pulls pretty hard to the right, and that's with rifle barrel. If I switch to a stability perk like brace frame, you'll see that brace frame only really affects the up and down recoil pattern. It still pulls pretty hard to the right. So brace frame doesn't actually make that much difference, is why I don't suggest using it. Even if you do have like a luck in the chamber roll, you want to stick with rifle barrels, by far the best perk on that tree. Now if you compare it to other hand cannons like the old school Red Hand 9, this one has perfect balance on it. And you can see that this is a lot more up and down, and this is something you'll see with a lot of the other hand cannons. It's what makes Eyasluna kind of different. It doesn't have much up and down recoil, but it has a lot of left and right recoil. And with the Finales Peril as well, which is starting to get really popular, especially if you were farming that recent Iron Banner. This is actually that roll that with Reactive Reload and Outlaw. You can see it pulls a little bit to the left, but it's pretty much straight up and down. For that reason, this is actually a really good weapon. I suggest trying it out because it's a lot easier to control the recoil in this weapon. It's a lot more friendly to people who are, newer to hand cannons. If you want to try this one out first before going to the Eyasluna. Another gun is actually the Vanity. It's awesome. This gun is underrated. I think I'm going to make a video on it soon because it does similar damage to Eyasluna. It can 1 tap to the head, 3 taps to the body. But it's actually got such good recoil control. I mean, it barely moves. Look at that grouping. And if you look at something like the Revelator, I mean, nobody really uses this gun, but I'm just using it to show you that most of the other hand cannons have up and down recoil. They don't really shoot left and right like the Eyasluna. And here what I'm showing you is quick scoping with it. This is how you can kind of negate some of the recoil, and you can also get that first shot accuracy on every shot. Look how tight the grouping is there if you just kind of quick scope with it. This is me pacing my shots, just taking a little bit more time over it. No recoil control at all, and you can see it's a lot tighter than before, but it's not as good as like the kind of quick scope thing. And this is me kind of shooting as fast as I can with the quick scope method, and you can see how tight that grouping is. So I really suggest that you go out into patrol, you quick scope some Dreads, quick scope some Vanils, and you'll see. this is me really pacing my shots. I'm not doing any recoil control, I'm just pacing them. Taking a little bit of time in between shots, and it makes a huge difference to the recoil pattern. And again, just showing you the quick scope, this is a bit of a longer range, and you can see that pacing the shots is really important, because even when you're snapping in shots like that, the recoil is still pretty hard to the right. Pacing your shots is the #1 thing that's going to allow you to land more crits. So I hope that was enjoyable for you guys. Hope you like this gun. I certainly love it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.